Hello, my name is Janelle Torres, and this is my presentation on ADHD. ADHD, what is it? So ADHD, it stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Sometimes people will refer to it as ADD, which is just attention deficit disorder. Not everyone suffers from the hyperactivity part. Most commonly, we think of children when we hear the term ADHD. However, it is a chronic disorder that does follow you throughout your life. It may present itself different in adults than it does in children, but it is still there. I personally live with an adult, my husband, who has ADHD and suffers and tries to manage that. Here I have a chart of youth's age. This is just for kids aged 4 to 17 who have been diagnosed with ADHD. This was taken off the CDC government website. I am in Kansas, so that is about 9.1% to 11% of children have been diagnosed with ADHD. That's pretty high if you think about it. And working in a school setting, I can definitely see the children who have this. There's actually quite a few children who have this disorder. Over the years, there's been an increase in ADHD. I have some facts here that boys are more likely than girls to get it, that Black children and Hispanics have had the largest increase over the years. And however, white children have been diagnosed with the most cases. There's really no specific reason why there's been an increase. Some say that it's because parents are becoming more aware of the subject and they're taking their children to the doctors to be diagnosed or checked out. Another is that there might be some cultural factors, meaning we see this increase in the Black children and Hispanic communities because maybe they're becoming more aware and it's becoming more acceptable in their cultures to find and seek help, where before it wasn't. Nobody talked about mental health or just health in general. An interesting fact that I found was that families with incomes over $30,000, so not families that you would consider poor or living in poverty, had children that were more likely to be diagnosed with ADHD. I thought that was a very interesting fact because when I think, and I don't know, could be just me stereotyping, but when I think of ADHD, I think of the children in, poor to working class families. So, again, it could just be me. There's some different signs and symptoms. There's 3 categories. There's the inattention category, the hyperactivity category, and the impulsivity category. Inattention would mean, they can't concentrate. They might look like they're not listening. They can't focus on an assignment. They might seem to have problems retaining information and learning new things. Hyperactivity, this is the the bouncing off the walls, the can't sit still, the always having to move piece. And then the impulsivity is usually the behaviors. This is where you see when they can't focus and they get frustrated, they act out, they lash out. They might be mean and hit or spit or kick, or they might just lash out verbally. I mean, each symptom is different. Do all children act the same when diagnosed with ADHD? First, there are 3 types of ADHD. Or there's 3 subcategories. There's the inattentive, there's the hyperactive impulsive type, and then there's a combination type. Out of those 3 types, the combination type is the most common. In order to be placed in any of these types, you have to meet certain characteristics. So for the inattentive type, in order to be categorized as that, you have to exhibit 6 characteristics off the following list, which would be paying attention to details, making careless mistakes, paying attention to academic and social activities, listening when someone speaks directly to them, following instructions and finishing tasks, organizing tasks and activities, sustaining mental effort, keeping track of necessary supplies, avoiding directions, and remembering daily activities. So in order to be diagnosed as having ADHD, which is this first type, the inattentive type, the children have to have difficulty exhibiting 6 of those characteristics. The same with the hyperactive impulsive. There's also a list of that. That's keeping hands and feet to themselves, sitting still in their seats, staying seated, resisting running or climbing, participating quietly, resisting being constantly on the go, talking excessively, blurting out answers prematurely, waiting for turn, and interrupting others. So again, a child has to have difficulty exhibiting 6 of those characteristics to be typed under hyperactive impulsive. And again, like I said, the combination would be a combination of those things. Just like any other disease, not all of these symptoms are present in all children. Each child might exhibit their symptoms differently. For example, the school I work at, we have a little girl who she has that impulsiveness too. When she doesn't understand something, get away, she lashes out. I work specifically with a 6th grader who has the same diagnosis, the ADHD, and he tends to shut down. He doesn't try, he just shuts down completely. Again, everyone's different. Everyone exhibits different symptoms. Another thing is medication. There are so many different medications out there. So if a parent chooses to medicate their child, that can affect how the child presents themselves. Some medication is a slow release, so they might be okay during the day at school, where other children take their medicine in the morning and by afternoon it has worn off and they are very hard to control and focus. And then on the flip side of that, which I had just experienced, is maybe children don't take their medicine. Maybe they don't like the way it makes them feel, and they find a way to deceive their parents and don't take their medicine at all. And then you're wondering what's going on. So, ADHD and the IDEA or IDEA. So, according to IDEA, it's ADHD doesn't have a specific category. It's listed under the subcategory of other health impairments. So, other health impairments are limited strength, vitality, or alertness regarding environmental stimuli. another interesting fact is that ADHD accounts for nearly 2/3 of the students identified under other health impairments. So while it doesn't have its own category, there is quite a chunk of students or children that qualify for services like IEP and special services because they have ADHD. Managing an effective classroom. So I put some tips here on some things you can do as a teacher to help the child or student focus. The first thing is getting them situated in the classroom. It's always a good idea to have the students that struggle the most closest to the teacher. This is something that I learned working with the special ed teachers at my school, and it's something that I've seen that is very effective. You want the students that need the most help right there in front of you. That includes students with ADHD. It helps focus them. You're there to intervene and to coach. Organization is key. I found that having specific places and folders for work so they know exactly where it is helps. Having a schedule helps, especially if that schedule is written, something they can look at and so they know what to expect. Consistency is very important. As far as classwork goes, modifying assignments might be a great way to help alleviate any anxiety or misunderstandings they might have. Finding quiet places to do their work, offering them breaks, breaking up larger assignments into smaller assignments. In addition, when you were giving instructions for assignments, both oral and written instructions help. And then as far as behavior, we use a lot of behavior sheets in my class. So having a behavior plan, having incentives. So when they are on task, they have something to show for it. Also, when a behavior occurs, to provide one-on-one coaching and address that behavior immediately and let them know, hopefully in a positive way, that it's unacceptable and try to find a replacement behavior for that. Again, positive praise is always a good idea for any child, especially those who have behavior issues. These are some of the sources that I use. Like I said, I got the CDC website had a lot of great resources for parents. I also found some resources on the American Speech Language Hearing Association website too. So if you're someone who has students with ADHD, there are some great resources on there. That's it.